Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. Hopefully, you're having a great Sunday so far. And as usual, I wanted to start with some of the updates. So, part of this week was I was trying to get some of the combat that I was showing last week a little bit more, smoothed out from a first-person perspective. Oh, hey, Atlantica, good morning, good morning. How are you? And hopefully, it's also as far as the kind of the stealth takedown, it was working out okay, but kind of the front combat, like the fisticuffs, I think it's what you would call it. uh, that was a little bit, well, it was kind of horrible. And there were a couple of things also that did not really work as I intended it to. So let's take a look at some of the changes. And one second, let me just start here, and I'll show you some of that. The way the system initially was set up was with it would get a target, right? And it would lock onto that target. So basically, when I was doing some testing this week, I was looking into, well, having multiple enemies. And at that point, it got to a point, I mean, it got kind of awkward when it came to the combat, as the enemy or like my player, my character, would shift from one target to the next, and it looked very weird. Ayush, hey, hello, welcome. And what I ended up with was I've made some edits to this component that I had purchased. And yeah, well, I have the volume all the way up, so I'm not sure why it's coming in as low. So I have the volume on my microphone all the way up in here. Yeah, let me know if okay, thank you, Atlantica. So what I let's take a look at what the current result is. Oh, hey, Julius, thank you so much for joining. Hello, and for confirming. One thing that I did do is kind of the punching is looks a little bit more, first person-ish. And so there's like two animations that it randomly chooses between when it comes to the front punches. And when you engage this guy, the hits are the hits that I'm doing, you'll see. Um, they uh, I don't have to, it doesn't lock on target. So basically, I can like walk around, and of course, I can punch, but if I don't hit him, you'll see real quick. I'm not sure if you can notice it on the screen. There's like a quick trace, and what the trace does, it's doing a trace against like with the actual fist hitting the enemy. And so that was the major thing that I made change. So now if there's like, we can try and add two enemies. I'm actually curious myself because I haven't tested with two enemies at the same time so much. So we'll see how this how this behaves. Oh, thank you, Ayush. Yeah, I'm sorry that it's coming in as low volume to you. So now there's like two guys that are trying to like, fight me. And so now you can see that I'm hitting this guy. Let's see. And I have to like there's like the reaction is a little bit too exaggerated at the moment, so you can see that um whenever they hit me, it has to be like their actual fist to like make contact for me to actually take damage. So there you go. That guy actually made a hit. And I'm guessing right now it looks like they can beat each other out. And it's if they were to hit each other, right? But now if let's go into first person. Yeah, Julius, that's true. It's basically just getting the animation in place, and that's why they ended up like this. So now if I just start like kind of hitting that guy, okay, so that guy went down, and then there's this guy left. Oh, and this is another thing that I'm trying to that I'm working on is and I had it planned, I just didn't get around to doing it. When they have you detected, so actually when the behavior tree tells the AI that I can see the character, at that point you're not able to do a stealth takedown anymore. And this is just what happened because I was able to kind of, I would say, maneuver around or move behind the enemy and do a stealth takedown because in that position it thinks that okay, it's behind the enemy, so I can do a stealth takedown. And that's the one thing that I didn't get around to doing prior to the stream. But there you go. So they're in the ragdoll, and they end up in a ragdoll which looks a little bit more natural. They don't always fall back into just a position of uh, you know um, like from an animation, right? You play like a death animation, and their end ragdoll is it looks like okay, they've been put down like that. So yeah. But yeah, Julius, that's the thing. I need to. They're basically just some basic animations that I managed to find. They look all right when it and yeah, they should be a little bit even for the character, the player character. They should be a little bit more forward up. Like when you actually hit, maybe a little higher for the hit. And the other thing is you can also punch down, and so it's depending on your orientation. So you can like punch up and down based on where you look. And the same with the enemies. So wherever they focus on, they can punch in that direction. Yes, and so that took me a little bit of doing, just digging through the original developer's code and figuring some things out. Also, and this is the package itself is actually really cool. And this is what I wanted, something else that I wanted to share is the punches, they're actually done through an anim notify, which is really cool because it looks something like this. So if you have the punch animation and at the point where the fist is fully extended is um, it does the line trace. And I think at this point, maybe it's not doing it in the right direction. I'm probably not using the right socket for this. I think it's not using the right socket since it does it pretty oddly. But um, the anim notify itself from the original developer has a lot of good setups in here. Like you can take a look at the melee direction, and you can either use it to target when the setup was to actually lock on a target, and it didn't really care if you actually the fist actually made contact. Once it was locked into the target, any press of the button is going to be a hit. But it also has the bone rotation, which is actually taken into account the bone itself, as you were able to tell when I was hitting. I had to hit it with the fist to order to make to do damage. Yeah. So that's a really nice feature, this anim notify. Julius, once the character model is rigged, can you apply any uniform on it? Yes, I can apply any uniform. Like these guys share the same skeletons as these guys, and for the body when it comes to the body. Some of them I can add a metahuman head, so I can the main characters basically. I can add a metahuman head. And with ALS, you can I can have this selection, so I can vary a bunch of the body parts in each one of the skeletons, and then I have a head skeletal mesh, which would be the metahuman for the interactable characters. So the ones that you're going to talk to, and they're going to have like lip sync and all that, along with like grooms and all that kind of fancy stuff that metahuman has. ALS. Oh, ALS is I think it's called Advanced Locomotion System. Let me look it up. I can share it with you real quick. And that's it's a free package. It's been free for ages now, I would say. I think it's one of the most. I'm thinking if it's still available. I would think it was advanced locomotion. Oh yeah, there he goes. I think it's got some of the largest amounts of reviews on um on the marketplace. And yeah, as you can tell, I'm not sure. Yeah, unfortunately, I guess it only got developed until 5.0. I know they have a pretty active Discord, and they might have done updates to be 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, but I've had it since 4.27, and I've just been adding on stuff to it and, changes and all that. Yeah, exactly. Advanced Locomotion System V4. This is the latest one. And it's got the cool thing about it is that the package has it has the IK foot placement. It has a lot of like the overlay states, for like weapons and stuff. It's mostly geared towards third person, though, I was able to get first. Yeah, so it's geared mostly towards third person, but I was able to use it for first person just as easy. It already has like rolls and ragdolls and mantling implemented, and as you can tell, like carrying objects, weapons, and yeah, and it's free. I, if you know me so much, I do love free stuff. So yeah, okay, okay, that was the update from the yeah, it has yeah, it's very used, and there's also, of course, it introduces some frustration because the system is pretty complex, so maybe not geared towards a beginning and or a beginner, sorry. Oh, your English is very good, man, thank you. I am 42. Yeah. um so yeah, it's I'm getting up in age here. Anyways. Oh, same. Cool, 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 cool. Where are you from, if I can ask? Yeah, so that was the update from a gameplay standpoint. Let's go into the. Uh, oh yeah, nice. Yeah, there you go. Let's go into the main level. Oh, nice. Okay, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. You did mention that, and I forgot. I forgot. So salut, salut. Bine ai venit. And that was welcome to the stream in Romanian. Okay. Uh, so let's take a look at some of the other stuff that I was working on that I wanted to share. Somebody mentioned, I'm not sure if was it you, Ayush? I can't remember. In the last stream that the point connecting some of the property, not the properties, but some of the areas along the main road would look nice to have uh, a roundabout. And that's what I did. So I wanted to share kind of how the roundabout looks like, and what I did, and how, I mean, how I made it, if anything would be helpful to folks. Ayush, yeah, and the family with a statue. And actually, and then now that brings me to the thank you, Ayush. And that brings me to the point of of the statue, which kind of unknowingly uh, it I actually posted one on Sketchfab on my Sketchfab account. I keep on posting, as some of the models that yeah. Thank you guys for the ideas. I appreciate that. And the fountain, that's the thing. We'll see what works best, because I think I have both. Both I have the model of a fountain and also a statue. So we'll take a look and see which one would work best. And yeah, actually, let me, because I'm gonna, I think I might end up downloading it from Sketchfab, because it's gonna download it with all the assets ready to put into ready to put into Unreal. But let's take a look at how the roundabout looks at the moment. So that's how it looks at the moment, of course. And just need to maybe adjust some of these tire tracks around here a little bit, just to kind of make it go in here. Okay, yes. The way this is set up, and it's I would say it's far from perfect at the moment. You'll see that there's still some issues and stuff. And actually, sorry, I didn't see Ayush's question. Simple question: how you learn game development? It's actually just by doing. I literally that's how I learned it, and it was uh, also I've I've come previously to Unreal. I've used CryEngine, so that's how I started, and spent a bunch of times in that, and that was more than half of my 10 years. Well, actually. And I think about 4.5, 5 years ago, I moved to Unreal. So it's that's kind of how long I've been doing it. And again, it's a part-time thing. Unfortunately, I can't. I wish I had the money to just be on in this full time. It'd be nice, but life has to be taken care of. And let's see, Vichax, hopefully I said that right. Is this your project or just a tutorial? Yeah, it is a project. But if you have questions, I can try and answer them in such a thing. And Julius, how is CryEngine compared to Unreal Engine to learn? Oh my God, I don't want to get into it. Uh, it's in the name, so so to speak, CryEngine. It unfortunately, when I first started the the game development, I was looking more at looks and what looks better. And at the time, CryEngine looked better. Like the rendering was nicer. It was it had some more properties at the time that Unreal Engine didn't. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna go with CryEngine, even though even then it's it was a very tiny community for CryEngine. So yeah, it was very hard to get off the ground. A lot of there were very even then there were some people developing games at that time, but nowhere near where Unreal was, and I didn't realize that. So I did spend some time in CryEngine and learn quite a lot. I'm not gonna beat it because it was a good learning opportunity, and I did learn things. I but at the same time, I wasted some years that I could have put into the project. And so Julius actually live in up north in New Hampshire, New Hampshire, United States. So Vichax, I am an animator and I'm trying to make a horror game in Unreal. And that's perfect fine. You can start with like I've started with not a lot of knowledge about game development. I had some background in software engineering at the time, so I needed to learn things. Of course, that's how things work. Julia, so you ported your old project to Unreal from CryEngine to... No, I didn't. I literally started from scratch, from zero. So I had the concepts that I wanted to have as far as, the gameplay and things like that. But yeah, moving to Unreal, started from zero. So that's also part of the journey, of these past 5 years. It's been it's been you have to factor in the learning curve. You start you have an understanding uh, of game design. So yeah, it's still difficult. Yeah, and that's the thing also. everything that I've imported or that I was playing around with in CryEngine, there's stuff that I've made. So I've just re-exported the textures and went into Unreal. Yeah, exactly. In Atlantica, that's almost the same path that I took. I was doing CryEngine and then tried. I think I've tried Lumberyard just for a little bit because there were a lot of things they were trying to implement that didn't really work. And yeah, and Lumberyard, well, the original is nowadays there's probably nothing left of Lumberyard to be honest with you, in what they use. I think they've tweaked it so much that it's just its own little. It's kind of like if you think of Ubisoft. Ubisoft, I believe their engine is called Dunia. Like, because I know that when I play Far Cry 5, it's got that, the Dunia engine, and I think that started as CryEngine as well. But by this point, is completely nothing that is like CryEngine left in there probably. And yeah, that was the other thing. The code was really messy, and I didn't know much about C++, but looking at some of the stuff in CryEngine, yeah, it was. It's that's the unfortunate thing about it. It was meant to be. It started off as an in-house engine, and they try to make it accessible to people, but they didn't put the resources into it, so it's still not accessible to people, not to this day. And if you look at that's the other thing. Some people ask me about CryEngine. Well, just look at their website. There's nothing there, nothing updated or anything like that, unfortunately. So because I did enjoy the engine, I really liked it, and I was hoping for it to be better and more adoption, across everybody. But it's just it was in the end it was an internal engine, and um, very hard to adopt them. So yeah, but still no nice. Anyways, I should add you as a moderator. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to some of this um, uh, roundabout and see what can we do to improve it. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah, thank you, Atlantica. So that's exactly it. And I've known other people, other folks as well that actually have made video games in CryEngine and some pretty well-known ones that have recently moved to Unreal. Hey, Benos, welcome. This is actually my video game project, and it's um, um, it's called On Your Own because I work on it on on my own. And yeah, it's a first-person adventure, action adventure video game. Yeah. If you have any other questions, I can answer you that. I mean, that was it in a nutshell. Vijax, yes. So it's open world and oh yeah, and I didn't see the sorry, I didn't see the earlier message. It is open world. It's actually pretty small. I mean, it's not it's it don't think of it as the size of Far Cry, anything like that. It's about the playable area is about 2 by 2 kilometers, and yeah, so the idea, Beano, is just to give you a quick overrun. You drop into the world via, it's been used before, but via a plane crash. And what happens is you get to choose a point to, jump out of the airplane because, the airplane is crashing. So what's going to happen is the airplane is flying across the map like this, like along this path, and there's like different areas where you can jump or different locations where you can jump out of the airplane. So depending on where you jump, you're gonna probably approach the first mission that you get a little differently, like how you get there and so on. And so what happens is there's these bad guys in this world that have taken a lot of these town people into this facility here that they've kind of walled off, and you got to figure out why that happened and what's going on through the missions and interacting with the NPCs. So there's going to be a set of NPCs that are going to be hidden across the map, and you need to reach them and talk to them. So let's see. Let me see. Vichax, what is the common mistakes and problems you faced when developing a game? Well, I think the first thing you got to do is um, have as as best of a plan as you can, because along the way plans are definitely going to change, no doubt. There's like I had the same thing. I thought I had the best plans, but along the way things have changed and I had to adjust some things because I realized that, okay, this might be out of my scope. I'm not going to be able to get to this or to this or to that. And I had to remove some things. I had to add some things because, that they worked a little bit better. But as far as the scenario behind the game goes and the main objectives, those never change. So if you start with those, you can adapt along the way. Like a lot of the things change, when initially I started with a 2 by 2 kilometers map as well, but what happened was, I was here, like for example, I was at a location on the map, and the 2 by 2 kilometers felt small if you looked into the distance, right? So now if you look into the distance, there's like all these distant mountains. Like here, there's going to be something even like farther away. So it gives you a little bit of sense of depth, like let's see, where would be a good placement, like here in this little town. See, like over here, you have kind of something that's far away, and with the 2 by 2 kilometer map, it did not feel like that, and so that took me some time to add it in and actually fix that. So that derailed me, or for a little bit. Oh, hey, Maxim, welcome, welcome. And that's gonna happen. There's gonna be issues with, like I've had issues with migrating from one version of the engine to the next, like I'm having now, and that took a little bit of my week trying to migrate to 5.3. But unfortunately, one of the plugins that I have ran into an issue. So hopefully the developer will get back to me as far as what that might be. Yeah. So um, hopefully that gave you a little bit of an idea, Vichex. Julius, do you have plans to add rain snow? I do not. It just adds a little bit too much complexity. I um, I would like to have. I believe there is a plugin on the marketplace to add those in, but it's very expensive. So I might take a look at it if it's on like a heavy sale, big sale or something like that. Binos, yes, there is guns. As far as guns, there is a bow, um, a regular rifle, and a pistol, like the regular, fighting with the fists or the stealth takedowns. Those are in place as well. And I was actually showing it a little bit earlier. There is like the car driving, that you can drive a car. The of course, the like the NPC interactions. So they give you missions, and you talk to them. No chat GPT though. But yeah. Can you show the game? Yeah, I can. What I can do is I can. Let me jump into that test level real quick and give you a quick a quick breakdown of it. Um, yeah, Vichax, in the fog effect, I just used the volumetric, the main exponential fog. I don't add a lot of fog planes, just to keep the complexity low. So okay, so Binos, just to show you some quick interactions and weapons. Oh, VJax, no worries, no worries. It's totally fine. And actually, in the end, that's one of the reasons that you know, for me to stream because it's um, it's kind of, trying to promote the game in a way, and also if people have questions on, hey, how did you do that? I can answer some of those questions. Also, one of the things that I wanted to show Beano's and Vichaks, because you probably knew, this is how you get your missions. Like through, and this used to be like a wrist tablet, like something that you have on your wrist to get these things. So as you can see, there's like a little like the missions what you currently have in your inventory for weapons, and kind of the directions. Okay, but let's take a look at, so you have the pistol, of course, and actually at the moment, I think I need to fix this. It just doesn't deal damage for whatever reason. Then you have like the rifle, of course, and yeah. So these guys. Oh, actually, I guess the rifle does. I need to check that and see exactly why that is. Let me start over again just to show you. Like there's also like the knife. And the knife, I haven't made it yet to deal damage, or to attack, but that's just the idle mode. And of course, I was talking about the bow, and the bow, I think the bow still deals the damage. The other thing that I'm trying to do is do as small of a, a UI as possible. And as you can see, like the bows are the ammunition for the bow is just that little icon in the top left in the on the bow. It's like a little digital display. So yeah, and of course, once you shoot it, the arrow is attached to the enemy, and I just need to make it so that you can pick it back up and replenish your ammo. The other way, like all these NPCs that you see around here, they're just your basic non-interactable NPCs, and they just navigate the map and look for an activity. Like right now, the activity is to go and sit and uh, and then just kind of roam around. The let me put the bow away. Let's see what else. So I was talking about kind of just the car driving. There's some kind of cool interactions as well. Like part of one of the missions is going to be to take care of this little puppy. I'm not sure why it doesn't go into the proper overlay state, but yeah, so you'll be able to grab this guy and as a side quest, to feed him or something like that. So that's going to be something interesting to do. You're going to carry him around for a little bit, and again, that's just for a little side quest, side mission. How long have you been making it? I think I've started with Unreal about 5 years ago. So I would say let's say 5 years, because it's been like that, for that period of time, given whoops, that's interesting. Yeah. So whoa, well that's a new one. What the heck? Hey, it must be something about the it must be something about the arrow. Oh, thank you, Benos. Yeah, hopefully there's going to be more coming as I continue to finish off like the main level, and we'll jump into that real quick. And and yeah, so you're just your standard driving as far as I love these kinds of bugs. Yeah, me too. So and these ones, you can of course if you so inclined, you can run over the enemies with the vehicle. Whoops, I guess I wasn't going fast enough. So 1 second. Um, so of course, with these guys, you can do that as well. And yeah, like the car, that's actually pretty simple to do with the hands, to kind of control the wheel. Um, and yeah, there's gonna be third person, And yeah, there you go. So that's kind of also how the car driving works. Um, is event text causing performance issues? Not so much. I mean, it's actually not that event. You know, you have to manage them. You have to be careful how to manage your event ticks, right? You don't want to go overboard with it, and you know, only when you need them for what you need them. But yeah. And Julius, there is no much tutorials how to build such an animation. Well, and that's a tough one because it's kind of an advanced thing, and it's um it's based on how your animation blueprint is set up. So there could be 50 different types of animation setups for blueprints, for animation blueprints. But just to give you a quick idea, the car itself has a set of points, and this is at least how I set it up. So hopefully it gives you some ideas. But the car itself has a set of points. Let me see on the steering wheel, like this one, these two. And when the player is inside the car, the what I'm telling the animation blueprint, hey, you know what? Look for these points and place the hands where these points are at. So yeah, and I work with animation blueprints for animation. Yeah, animation blueprints for animation, of course. And that's how it works. You know, the hands are placed here and here, and they're a little bit off just because uh, the hand the hand socket is its position, right? So you want to make it look like the palm is on the steering wheel because the hand is a little further back, if I'm not mistaken. So Vichax, yeah, there's going to be some animation changes, and actually I haven't shown any of the stealth things. So for the stealth animations, is something that looks like this. I still need to position the camera a little bit better so that these guys are, and you know, the final death animation doesn't look too good. And then you know, once it comes to like the fists, you know, it just something like that. That you kind of you need to like actually hit him with the fist and not like hit around him. And you know, probably the fist need to come, you know, to kind of happen a little bit quicker because right now it's just the animation is not played very very fast. It needs to it's waiting for the previous animation to end, and that's why it's not playing at at the proper rate. So Dead End Games, hey, how's the game coming along? Yeah, it's coming along good. I'm happy with the progress. I'm moving, you know, closer and closer to a kind of a pre-alpha build slash demo for folks to try out, hopefully. Julius, how do you trigger it? Do you mean like the animation to put the hands on the wheel? Those are triggered once you enter the vehicle. So when you enter the vehicle, there's a montage being played, you know, the enter the car montage, and then I transition to an in-car state, and the Anim Blueprint looks at that and is like, okay, this guy is in the car, so I'm gonna switch over to look for the position of the hands. Um, oh, the animation. Well, so there's no animation. That's inverse kinematics. That's IK. So basically, the Anim Blueprint looks for those two placements, those two positions, and adjusts the bone. So that's why, you know, depending on how I turn the wheel turns itself by the blueprint of the car. So the blueprint of the car would turn the wheel based on you go left, right, you know, so that's how. This one here is actually a positioning, and it's probably oversized. It's pretty bad, but this one here is a position of the player. So I reposition the player when I enter the vehicle, so I can play the proper montage. Yeah. hmm let's see. Oh yeah, healing like Far Cry. That's a good idea. New animation. Vichax, thank you so much for the offer. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll think about that. I'll keep you in mind. Okay, and yeah, so the other thing is you'll be able to interact with NPCs like this and to have the dialogues. Unfortunately, I don't have anything in here at the moment because I need to refresh some of my metahuman heads and actually export the animation. Dead End Games. Yeah, let me see because I'm not sure why the animation is not being played properly. That's which was kind of odd. I had it working, but again, I made some changes recently, and this should not say pickup crate. I'm not sure why it says that. That's kind of interesting. Is it? Let me delete the crate from here. I'm not sure why it said crate. Um, I've made some changes to the interaction recently, and that's why I'm uh, still have some trouble. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to write this down. I need to fix this. I'm not sure why there is no the animation doesn't play properly. Uh, so yeah, this is kind of like that inverse kinematics that I was talking about when you rotate the wheel. That's it's all just inverse kinematic IK uh, for short. But Dead End Games, sorry for her not being able to show you that. I'm assuming it's something related to this issue with some of the skeleton being attached to the car itself. Atlantica, exactly. That's how that's how I end up with these bugs, and it's great. I mean, I guess that's the plus of doing streams. People ask me, "Hey, can you show me doing that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. Oh, there's a bug. Okay, now I'm gonna need to fix this." Yeah. And Julius, yeah, no C++ needed. I actually have no C++ in this project. It's all just blueprints. And because the thing is, with C++, you'd have to recompile it, and I'm trying to use, even with stuff from the marketplace, I'm trying to use as little as possible stuff that relies on some C++. Yeah. Hey, Dianca, I know. Sorry, only English in this channel. I'm not sure what you're saying there. So if you could use English, that'd be great. Appreciate it. Okay. And the other thing is, you're able to throw distractors, so you can distract the enemies. They would go and inspect that. Actually, I'm hoping that that functionality still works. Let me see if um, so this guy did not get distracted by, oh, there it goes. So he went ahead to investigate that little area, and yeah. So right now, unfortunately, the behavior tree seems to he's trying to look for you at the moment to try and find you. And there you go. Now he's like turning towards you, and he was able to find you. There you go. Oh, Indonesia. Hey, welcome, welcome. Happy to have somebody from Indonesia here. Vichax, these assets are free to use. Well, some of them are, some of them I bought, some of them I made. So it's a combination of things. There's some of them are from Sketchfab and so on and so forth. So definitely a mix of assets that I made, assets that I bought, and in the end, um, stuff that helped me out. Okay, well, so hopefully, Beanos, if you're still around in VCHAX, that gave you a very short idea of some of the mechanics in the game, and of course, more to follow. So let's get back into this main level here and kind of finish off that roundabout that with the statue and and the fountain. So, uh, thank you both. Thank you both, um, Atlantica and um, let me see, and Ayush, because you gave me the idea as well for that. Thank you. So we'll try and use them both. We'll see how it pans out. Like I said, I do have a statue from a photogrammetry thing that I've made a while back. And Technify, I just saw you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. And yes, let me share while this is loading because it's loading almost everything. This is my Sketchfab page, and I do have a bunch of downloadable models here if anybody's interested. And the latest one that I've uploaded just yesterday is this statue because we were talking about statue. And this is when I went back home at one point, I went to a park and there was this one statue, and we tried to do a photogrammetry or like take some photo around it with the cell phone, and this is how it ended up. It actually turned out pretty good. And Vichax, yeah, I think if you look up my name on Instagram, I should should be coming out and like Instagram. I don't post as much on Instagram though, and but yeah, let me share it here. Where's my thing? There it goes. Yeah, here it is. This is it. So we'll try and add this to. Let me see. Where's that roundabout? It should be somewhere around here. Yeah. So we'll try and add this here in the middle, and w- let's see how that's gonna turn out. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and download my own model. Nobody's downloaded it. Oh, come on, guys. But yeah, hopefully there's quite a few that I hope might come in handy for some people if they find them useful. Um, yeah. So this is kind of, I think, the first time when I'm trying to use a model that I've worked on to get it from to download it from Sketchfab and put it into the game, which is kind of funny. But it's easier because once you um once you download it, it's right here. So there we go. And it comes with the textures and the model itself, which is a DAE, which is, I'm not sure why that came through as a DAE. Oh my God. Anyways. Well, so the way it works like this. So whenever you select the model, like for example this one, it would have to be like a CC attribution. I think that's which means that you would have to give credit to the creator, basically just saying that okay, this is a model that's been made by such and such. And yeah. All right. Well, let's bring this statue into the game, but first I wanted to jump in here, and it's probably not the right place, but I needed to because I need to import that DAE thing, and I was kind of hoping, I guess, wishful thinking that it's gonna come through as an FBX, and I think Unreal can work with um um an FBX. Ooh, I didn't expect that it's gonna be imported so tiny. Hmm. So VChex, I've actually done a build maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I think the size ended up being about I would say uh, about 17, 18 gigs, something like that. So I'm hoping to keep it within that. within that scale. Okay, well, and I guess we'll see depending on how this turns out. We'll see. Let me make it a little bit bigger, medium point. And that's actually a great point to work that way. To just do like a block out first and see how things are looking that way. You know. Okay, well let's go ahead and export this as an FBX. And I wanted to export it here. And this is horse statue. There we go. And now let's bring it into the engine. Um, yeah, the quest system is I wouldn't call it 100%, but it's like 95 there. It's doing everything as you would expect it. Like it links the dialogues with the quest and the facial animations, and then based on the dialogue, it moves on to the next step, and it either assigns a quest or however I set it up. Yeah, I I'm still debating on whether to keep side quests or just keep things simple and just have like a linear system, so like go from here to here to here to like what would be a side quest, and just that would make things a lot simpler. So I'll have to go through that and see how it works. All right, let's bring in the sculpture. I mean the sculpture. Yeah, it's a sculpture. And let me see where to place that. And to meshes, might be under architecture, I guess. Might be multiple statues. Okay. Bear with me for a second here. So we got this, and we'll use something else for the concrete. Yeah, there's going to be the text popping up, but the NPCs are going to talk as well. And at the moment, that one's generated by AI when it comes to the actual audio of the NPC talking. All right, let's create the material for this statue, or this is actually a horse statue. So horse statue. All right. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, there's definitely I was showing some in previous streams. At the moment, like Atlantica was saying, you make some changes and then you, without realizing, you break some other things. Unfortunately, that's the case sometimes. But but yeah, what I'm hoping for is to the closer I get to actually publishing this pre-alpha, to share more of the interactions with the NPCs during the live streams. That's my plan. And actually complete, one or two of the missions, right? All right, let's apply some of these textures here. Base color. This is, I think it might be metallic, normal, and roughness. And let's see. Did I want to change anything? No, I think that should be fine. Okay, there's our statue. It's probably not perfectly unwrapped, but it's there. And there we go. So we have some statue in the middle of the roundabout. And now for the second part of this, we were talking about the fountain. And let me see if there's anything on Sketchfab that might be because they have a lot of cool stuff. I'm just looking for a fountain that's not. There's a lot of scanned stuff on Sketchfab, and I just don't want to use something that's identifiable like this one. I don't want to use anything like that, and that's the only difficulty with this. Something like this. See, this would be perfect because it doesn't have anything identifiable as a kind of a landmark or anything like that. And I want to kind of steer clear of things like that. Let me see. Was there anything else? Something like this. This is something I've made something like this for myself, and it works out. But for now, let's just use this one because it's readily available here, and we can actually it's just doesn't look so good. For the scan stuff, I wonder if poly count is really high. Well, so I cut back the poly count by quite a lot, and I do end up editing that. And there's a lot of scans. Some of them are better than others, and even if you just use it as a placeholder, they still turn out pretty well. So let me see if there's anything else around here. I also have to think of, okay, I need the fountain and also being able to place something at the top of it, you know. Yeah, let's take a look at this one real quick because it's pretty simple and it can have the horse in the middle. Yeah, actually that's a really good scan. Yeah, they're perfect. Dead end. It's I guess it's what you need in the end. Like for example, this particular fountain, I think even up close, it actually looks pretty good. And the advantage with this one is, the other thing is, this one can easily have a completely different texture applied to it. In the end, it's also kind of the mesh, um, which works. And let's take a look. Let's use this one. Carlos Faustino, thank you so much. Yeah, look at it. It's 1.2 million. I'm not gonna end up um, you know, using that one just like that, but it's I'm gonna trim it down quite a bit. So we'll do that real quick. And we'll also add some water into it. We'll see how that looks. So I guess the second part of this stream is more of just the artsy part of it. Thank you for putting up with me on this. Let's bring into Blender real quick. One second. Okay, it's importing. Blender not responding because it's importing a pretty big poly mesh, and there it goes. All right, so here's our mesh, and as you can see, there's a ton of, which I don't know what these are. Luckily, the other thing that sometimes I ran into, there were these really nice looking things in Sketchfab, but they were not the actual mesh. They were like the point cloud of the photogrammetry, and that doesn't really work out so well. At least you might be able to pull something out of it, but not sure how good that's going to work. All right, well, let's take a look at this one. And I'm gonna turn on screencast, even though I'm using an older version of Blender. I'm gonna turn this on just if anybody is interested in some of these things that I'm doing in Blender. All right, so let me, it's gonna take a little bit of time because I just want to select the fountain itself and not so much the, I think I might be able to get something out of this. So the way I'm gonna do it is just through like one of those circular selects and try to get um, kind of something like this out of it, just to cut some of the edges off. It's not gonna be perfect, but there you go, like that. So now I can just do this. And by that, cutting off a bunch of the excess polygons. And you see I just have this kind of lip going on all the way around. And now let's add a little bit of a decimate modifier here. As you can see, it starts at, and the other thing, whenever you do the decimate to kind of reduce these Sketchfab models, what I always like to do is add in the texture for the for this fountain because come on, I think it might be here. Higher up textures. I think it's this one. Just so that because if you decimate it too much, it might result in the UVs getting messed up. So as you can see, the fountain looks pretty cool. But if I'm gonna um, decimate it to a tenth, I want to make sure that I'm not messing things up as far as the UVs of the fountain. So let's see how what this turns into. Oh, actually, not too bad. It didn't mess up any of it or any of the detail either, which is really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this, and we'll see if I can trim it down even more. Even though at 90,000 at 90K it's totally fine. Once you add levels of detail, it should be pretty good. Let me remove the doubles. That's gonna trim it down even farther. And let's see if we can add another decimate and take it down. Yeah, see, this is what happens. So you can't really go, too far down with the decimation on some of these meshes. Yeah, so I think at this point, at here, I think it's starting to lose some of the detail. I think here is going to be fine for our testing here. Okay, so let me go ahead and export this, and this is going to be a fountain. All right, so let's import it now, and we'll see how it looks into this little area here. And let me see where did I put that? In the horse source model. I could not have exported it to a worse place. All right, let me import it into here, and we'll see how this is gonna look. The only trouble with some of these, with a lot of the scans on Sketchfab is they don't really have a normal. But what I plan to do is just add like a little bit of a detail normal, like a concrete type of surface or something like that. So that should help us out. All right, let's bring in the fountain and import. I don't care about nanite. All right, we have the fountain. Oh shoot, I forgot to make it bigger. Huh, it's still, I think it's still really tiny. Look at that. Ah, that's a nice looking fountain. All right, let's actually make it from here to be a, and it looks like from for others as well, there was like this kind of thing where the import doesn't really scale well. I think that might be a little too big. 12 by 12 meters, that's a little large. Let's do it about there. That's kind of, I mean, 6 by 6 seems a little bit more realistic, but let's try it. All right, and we'll re-import it. There we go. That's a little bit of a better scale. So we'll try and place it to about here. We'll see what works better for this. If it works, if it works better to just have the scale of it completely uh, uh, take up the traffic circle, or kind of like this. We'll see what works best. Okay. And then, with the statue, that would be kind of in the middle. Now it depends on what I want to do with that little spigot there, the little thing that um, kind of the water little valve, whatever that might be called. Okay, let's do the material for this, and I'm just gonna use this one here. This one is the fountain. Oh, of course, of course. We'll take a look. Let's do that. We'll definitely do that. Give me 1 second here, and let's add the material for the fountain. And we'll get the we'll try and remove the grass for now. I don't care that much about it, but we'll see how it turns out. All right, so let's apply the fountain, and I'm gonna import the texture for it as well. Let me see where that is. Fountain textures here. All right. There's the texture for the fountain. And let's apply, since it's only like the base color. And this one's here. And I'm not gonna need the metallic. I can use the roughness for this. I'm gonna try and use the roughness. That's the roughness, the actual base color for the roughness. And I'm just gonna make this pretty big. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try the Unreal Water, even though the Unreal Water is, well, I'm gonna use a plane. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna use a plane with the water texture, and then if I want to do the water interactions, I'm just gonna do that myself separately, because the water is the material is great, but the water volume, not so much, to be honest. I've only had issues with it. Um, I haven't had good luck with it, uh, so to speak. Hmm. I might have gone a little too far with even though what's that coming from? Let me undo this and this. Yeah, there's like a little bit of a, even though I'm not seeing it here, I'm not sure where that why that got a little messed up. Like there's these little, what looks like some overlapping UVs, some kind of trouble there, but overall it looks pretty decent. And let's see, I wanted to add a little bit of like a concrete normal, just to add a little bit of details. Let me see what would work. Clean concrete, I think that would do it. Oh, interesting. I think it might have been the normal that was causing some of those issues. There we go. That looks okay. All right, let's try and place this as best as I can in the middle of this traffic circle, and I'm gonna cut out the vegetation. And let's go into landscape mode, paint out the vegetation from underneath this area like that, just to remove it. And now let's also visibility and cut this section out. There we go. So now there is no terrain over there, and I can actually make this a little bit bigger, kind of like that. I'm not sure if it's really centered well. But yeah, there we go. It's almost in place. Did I put some kind of rotation on this? Not so much. I'm not sure why this one is kind of like poking through to that end. It might be just the position. I mean, I think this one itself, if we look at it from the side, you'll see that, oh, yeah, it's not perfectly straight. So let me try and adjust this a little bit better so that we have a little bit of a something like that, I would say. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so thank you, Atlantica. That's exactly how I feel. You know, for now, I'll just use it as just for the material. All right, so let's import this fountain and try and center it here. I mean, best I can. That's that's pretty good. It's okay-ish. There, like that. Okay. Let me add a plane or like a circle to this and apply the can't recall if you can. I thought you can add a circle basic shapes, or was it shapes? I can't recall where you get. Oh, shapes. There you go. So there's no. Well, that's a bummer. Hmm. Anyways, we'll fix that in Blender as usual. Let's add a mesh circle. Hopefully I got enough vertices in there. Hey Zenja, welcome, yo. Supun, hey bro, how's it going? Good, good, good. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. All right, so this one is gonna be our water plane. Let's put it about there, maybe about there, about there. We'll do that over here. And let's go from top view and unwrap. Let's make sure, another thing to make sure is that, see, like these two, the UV maps don't match for the name, and they have to match if you want them to use the same, if you export them as the same object. So this one and this one has to match this one. So, and now here, so it's going to be the water. make sure that I assign it. And now we have both the water plane and the fountain. And let's re-import. And once this is in, we'll take a look at the roundabout and see if I can refine it a little bit better and kind of connecting it into the connecting roads. Okay, well, this fountain, I need to fix some things about it. I think the fountain material should be this one. And then let's find the material for the lake, which is this one here. And let me see where, oh yeah, I need to edit this one. And I need to get the water surface. There's our material back into the fountain. And that looks, why does it, oh, because it's below the surface. I was kind of wondering, why would it look so weird? And there we go. We have a fountain in the middle of a traffic circle. So thank you all so much for the suggestions. I really like this. There is the trouble with the horse itself, like this little thing in the middle, and kind of the horse is there. It, you know, doesn't really fit so well with the. I need to fix that. So Supuna, I'm self learning to become a level designer, bro. Is there any specific areas that I have to learn which is important for level designing? There's a ton of stuff, right? It's just yeah, there's so many aspects to level design. I couldn't I honestly couldn't tell you what where to start. Like everything I've done is just, I've done things the way I've liked it, I never really took any classes or anything like that to, hey, you know what, I'm gonna take a course in level design. I just went with what I feel looks good. And let me see, what was the question? Zenje, how does your computer handle that? What do you mean? It's uh it's actually funny because I've recently just upgraded my CPU and my RAM and my motherboard, and I honestly can't tell the difference. I mean, there is some things that it does quicker, like shader compilations and all that. But aside from the performance inside the game, it's all based on it looks like most of it is on your video card. And I have an old video card. That part is still old. But I still want to keep that because that's kind of the target where if if that performs decently on that old video card, then on a modern video card is going to work really well. Julius, let's see, sorry. Put a pillar around it and yeah, okay, like a cement ring with a barrel around the base of it. Hmm. That's actually, you know what? Let me try something. Let me try something here because I like that idea and I already have this model here. So I'm wondering if we can do something with that. Let me see. Let me see what this selects. Whoa, that's all too much. part. Hey, maybe something like this. Um, something like really quick and yeah, the only thing, yeah, I'll need to find something that looks a little bit better because now it just got pretty banged up. But kind of in that idea, I'll try and figure something out for that. Um, yeah, the other thing that I wanted to add to this is, let me find it. Let me see if I can find it. Some of this water lilies. Oh, Atlantica, that's a good idea as well. That's a good idea as well um, for the cylinder beneath the. I just need to find one that looks okay, you know. That's the only difficulty sometimes. It's kind of um, finding that one that looks good, that works out, you know. So Zenja, yeah, there's definitely NPCs, enemies along with your um, with your friendly NPCs. That's a lot of it. That's too much. And of course, a much smaller spread. And actually, now that I've got the water lilies in there, it kind of covers the extra the weird tiling on the, or hopefully it will. It might not do so well, but come on, negative 235. That's too much. I think that's a little too much. 225. Okay, there we go. So actually this point, I think it's just a little higher than the other one. That's why it's, there we go, kind of like that. Yeah, and that's just the material itself because I only had that one material, but I'll try and find something or adjust it to be a little bit to not have so much movement, right? There we go. And now we have a fountain and the traffic circle. So now let's take a look at the traffic circle itself because it definitely needs some improvements. It's not it's far from perfect, so to speak. But it's the traffic circle itself is made out of two pieces, if anybody's interested. So first piece is this one here, which is this kind of circle going around the center. And I'll show you how I made that in Blender because I'm using curves and it's actually making it pretty simple. The only thing that I need to work on is this kind of, you can see the interior part of it is a little bit, it looks pretty um, well, the opposite of stretched, right? It's kind of too tight together. You know, it looks good on the outside, but once you go into here is you know, a little tight. So is this stream or no, Zenja, this is still in development. And yeah, so it's still in development. Hopefully that gives you an answer. So yeah. Um, One thing that I wanted to change real quick on the fountain, the more I look at it, it looks the diffuse of it is pretty bright. So let me try and make it a little darker. Uh, there you go. It kind of blends in a little bit more with the rest of this. And yes, so and the other part is the outer pieces. So there's and then there's this part here, which has kind of the sidewalk curved along here, and then the same material going across here. Now, I wasn't able to figure out a better way to do it. There might be a better way to do it, but what I was trying to do is I was trying to use the exact same material for both these and not create another extra textures or anything like that. Now, when you drop this down, the way I went with two meshes is I'm using pixel depth offset so that when these guys touch, you will see that the blending is you can't really I mean you can tell, you know, based on this other outer rim, but it's not very obvious. It's a little bit more obvious here, but it's all in how the mesh itself, the contact points are. So this one, if I was to turn off the pixel depth offset, you see like this here, this line, which is kind of here really obvious. So if I was to add the pixel depth offset, even as one, a value of one, it the two meshes blend together much better. And then when it comes to where it enters the driveway, what I plan to do is, I mean, I think this is the best example here, is just work with the decal that I used in the past for the road. And I wanted to set this one to, actually, let's bring this decal further down, like so. Yeah, the flickering, actually, great question. So the flickering itself, let's fix that real quick because right before the stream, I noticed that and it's like, oh, this is bothering me. But let's take a look first. I wanted to share how I've done this, you know, kind of these things like that. So the main thing is kind of the one in the middle, which is this circle. And let me see if I can find the copy of it. I thought I must have a copy here somewhere. Okay, so the way I have this, it starts off as, I don't need this one anymore. So what this one starts off as is just the road itself, right? The mesh for the road, which is just a simple flat plane. And then this one, what happens, and I'm actually starting to think that, yeah, so I've added some extra subdivisions in here, but it's still looking a little stretched. Yes, so for this mesh, what I've added is I've added an array modifier to follow that curve, which is the Bezier circle. So the Bezier circle is just this one here. So basically, when you add a curve, you just add a circle, and it adds this curve, this circle, which is a curve. And also along with that, so you know I've selected the Bezier circle here, and along with that, I've added a curve modifier and also added the Bezier circle here. And that created, based on the length of the curve, created my circle with the flat with the you know the road. Now a couple of things to mention, and I've kind of caught myself in this, is they all need to have the scale set to 1. So if you have something issues, you can do, you know, control apply rotation and scale. that kind of gave me trouble. Now also, they both this mesh and the so both the mesh and the curve have to have the same origin, point of origin, you know. So in my case, it's 0, 0, 0, and the same thing goes for this thing in the middle. This kind of these pavers, that's the same way. As far as these outer rims, they start off basically the same. There's like another curve and with the same mesh. And in the case of, in my case, you know, I also had added the sidewalk to to um, to make sure that these are, you know, it kind of continues on and it helps with, you know, there's like a little bit of a sidewalk there, and it helps with the blending parts of, and also the positioning on the ground. You know, like it might not be perfect, so the ground might need to be sculpted or something like that. And now that doesn't really help me when it comes to this section here. So that's why I'm saying where this one is, actually it's not that, but where is that? Let me save real quick because I have a ton of stuff open. So just in case I run into trouble. So let me find the decal. So I'm using this decal here, which apparently, well, it's actually not even needed. Cool. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So, but it's because it didn't really need it because it's connected onto the rest of the road. And now that I'm looking at it, it's actually ending up here. So it seems to, you know, with the pixel depth offset, it seems to be blending in pretty well. It's a pretty good result, I think. And we can just adjust this a little more, kind of like that. Oh, and I do think I do have this decal here. Yeah, so see, it kind of helps with with this section there. So it's always good to have this extra decal. The tire marks, are you referring to these? This is just a decal. Nothing, nothing much to it. But when it comes to, like, for example, entering the gas station here, well, first of all, I wanted to paint the the path, so I'm removing some of this vegetation growing through the concrete, which is normal, I guess, sometimes. But in here, I'm gonna use the same decal that I have with a piece of road or a section of road, so to speak, and just put this in here. There you go. So it covers that little section where where the terrain would have been, or the terrain is. So if I was to hide it, you see that this little thing in the middle, and just easily cover it up with a decal. So yeah, there we go. But now let's take a look at the little thing here, and I'm trying to understand why that's happening. What I'm thinking is in my mesh here, there is some kind of overlap. Um, Let me try and apply these. I'm gonna duplicate this. Interesting. Doesn't seem to be moving it to a different layer. But let me apply the the changes. Oh yeah, and here we go. This is our issue. It's the mesh itself is a little bit oh yeah, so it's going to be visible in gameplay, and that's why I want to fix it. So what happened was when let me hide this and go into, where is, Yeah. So what was happening, my assumption is the mesh itself is a little it's long enough, but when it starts curling around the circle, it's just overlapping with itself, right? And that's what's going on. So now let's just let's just go ahead and fix it real quick. So you'll see that here, this plane has some extra ones underneath it, right? Let's see if we can clean this up. All right, I think that was the overlap point. And now let's try and export this again. Oh yeah, and I have to give, am I actually using anything from Spleen Vision? Not yet. Um, yeah, this is another, if you look him up on Sketchfab, he's got some awesome models as well. All right, so we have this roundabout. And now let's see if we re-import this, if we get rid of that flickering. There we go, fixed. And yes, the main issue, which I don't like at the moment, is this kind of, they're like, the more you move further into this circle, the more it looks like it's kind of, really not stretched, but like I said, the opposite of stretched, kind of compressed together like these little these things here. And that's hard to work around that, especially given the shape of this. But I'm gonna try and see if there's anything that I can do to alleviate that. You can always fake some of these things with with like decals. So let's try and add some around here. See how it's like. Hopefully it's gonna help a little bit with taking up some of those removing some of those or at least not removing them, but not making them so obvious. I think that helps a little bit actually. To remove a little bit of, not make it so obvious, this thing in the middle. That's what I was hoping for. So, kind of trying to blend them like that in here. So overall, especially when you're at the ground level, it I think it works out all right. But yeah, one thing that I'll try and um, kind of look into later on today, and is if there might be a better way to get this to not be so, I'm saying a better way other than creating a new texture, because you can always make this if you just create a texture for this circle, right? So if you look at the circle itself, this was a straight road that I've pushed into a circle. And that's why we get this little this you know things being kind of pushed together. uh, Take this away and make a completely just a circle kind of texture, then you'd be all set. I don't think there is anything like that on like the mega scans or anything like that's a just a circle of this concrete, right? Or this asphalt. And yeah, I hmm, I'm actually wondering if huh, let's try something. Let's try something because I think I have an idea. The center line here is fine, right? This section here. So what I could do is I could create something like this. Let's I'm really just off the cuff. I'm trying something. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's give it a try. And so what I was trying to do is this part. Let's see what did. So I wanted to make it so that it's correct UVs. All right. So I'm going to try and tighten this up as much as I can around this line because this one looks okay-ish, right? And I'm just pressing double G to move the edge loop. And now for the rest of this, so this part here, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to do a different unwrap. So I'm going to do an unwrap from view. So now we have a circle, right? And this one, I'm going to try and scale up, maybe to about there, and apply a different material to it. And this is going to be concrete, maybe outer, I'm going to call it, and a sign. All right, so let's export this back up. And FBX roundabout. And which one is it? That's the connector here. All right, so let's re-import this and reset to that. And now I'm going to try and use a different material for this outside here. And I do have some. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to find what texture that kind of works with the other ones. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that's too much of tiling. But hopefully you get where I'm going with this. Now, let's see, is there anything else that's a little bit better? Uh, this one, might work, but let's see what else. Oh, come on. I think this one has, oh, this one could be interesting actually. This could be, let me turn off the blending with environment so I'm not sampling from the terrain. Hmm, I don't know about that. The advantage of this, if I recall correctly, maybe I don't. Let me see. Actually, I remember. The one thing that I had somewhere around here is a little bit of a cul-de-sac kind of material. So this one here, which had, I've added vertex paint to it, and I'm hoping. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna need to edit this because I'm not entirely sure where this material is. I'm gonna try and apply this material to that centerpiece. So it's gonna be this concrete gravel, and now I can commit my changes to this level. And let's go back to our roundabout here and apply this material. We'll see how this is gonna look. Okay, I mean it blends together, um, but again, it's still too different than the rest, you know. The cool thing about it is that I can do, something like this. Let me see, you know. So that's kind of neat, but it still doesn't really blend in too well with the rest of the road. And that's why, this kind of texture here was really good. And it's not, it's not definitely not something, too difficult to do. I actually think I just need to find the right one because I thought I had it in one of the past streams. I was working on one of these, and I thought I had removed the the middle lines to create like a decal for it. I'm wondering if this might be it. Let's take a look. Uh, yeah, somewhat. Let me try something real quick. This particular material is a decal, but the texture itself has no lines, and I might be able to fake it to some extent, because in the end, a lot of this is just trying to like uh, make it work, right? And I'm gonna try and do this as not a decal. Road 4, um, center maybe? I'm trying to figure out a name for it. All right, so let's apply this. And right now it's still a decal, but I'm just gonna go ahead and change this one to just be a regular material. And of course it didn't keep any of the ones before. So let me try and get this one back in here. Okay, yeah, so this is what I meant. Let's try and adjust the color a little bit so that it's kind of blending with the rest a little bit better. Um, so I'm gonna keep this here, and I'm gonna set this to the side real quick so we can see what we got going on. And I'm gonna start with the darkness. Okay, that's getting closer, but still doesn't. Yeah, it's a tough one. That's where you kind of end up playing with these to see what works best. And this one also doesn't cover the entire area. I might, in the end, I might just leave it as it was. But I really wanted it uh, to work out, you know. And also another thing that can be done, of course, is faking it with some of these decals that decals work great, but again, it's only how much can you do, or how in the places that you're going to be able to use them. And I'm going to turn this so it doesn't use receive decals. So yeah, I mean, there's fine with some of these areas kind of being maybe like some construction was going on or something like that. The only thing that I don't really like about this particular one is that it looks like it's got some tire tracks, and yeah. Oh well, let's go back to what was there before. It was I think it was working fine. Just like I think the blender undo does not work properly sometimes. I guess now let's take a see that. There we go. And in the end, it might just be trying to add out, add some decals around it. As much as I would have liked for this to work, I just don't have the proper textures. In the end, it boils down to that as well. So there we go. It's not too bad. And yeah, exactly, VCheX, that's exactly it. Adding like one of these definitely helped. Maybe one of these decals along here could also assist with some of that. And also, there's one of the things that I think I've shown to people is I've been um, I've been using this IA scatter tool to add damage on the roads, like potholes and things like that. So what I was thinking of doing is actually let's try and use that and see if we can add something to it. Yeah, exactly, Vichax, that's exactly it. When some tire marks. So let me try. I'm gonna use this one because I've somewhat placed it where it's supposed to be. And let me do this real quick. Pivot. And I'm going to use this little curve here. Let's see. Did I? Oh, I went a little too far out. To place some of these points outside of this. Oh, hey, Chadi, welcome, welcome. I think if you just tuned in towards the end of the stream. Sorry about that. But yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. All right, so let me add this one here. Um, I was trying to do a shortcut from Blender, it didn't work out. So for this one, I'm gonna try and let's do my little tire track decal and apply it here for the object. And we'll see how this is gonna look. Oh yeah, I forgot. Did I turn off decals for this? Well, it does receive decals, which is supposed to be that way. But then it's I thought it was supposed to use blueprint actors. I thought there was, I think there might be a setting. At least I thought there was. So instance type. Oh yeah, so this one should be blueprint actor. And then what am I missing? One second. Static mesh. I just need to do a quick step, a few steps back. There we go, like that. And this guy, scale 0.7. I should have just used that one. I'm not sure why I was struggling to use this one. I should have just used this one. It already has the proper settings. And then I just need to adjust this around to go around the traffic circle. So definitely something like that. It's a little crude, maybe. It's not everything is positioned perfectly, and I don't want to do too big of turns out here. As far, I mean, like I wanted to make it as circular as possible, like this. There we go. And maybe a little bit more instances here. Okay, yeah. Uh, great thought, Vchax. Appreciate it. And along with this, it could also have some of those the thing that I just mentioned with some of the damaged decals, and that could be. I think it might be. Can add another one of these, and I thought it would have selected. Oh yeah, it has the blueprint cube. So let's add the damaged, the concrete patches. So something like this could take away a little bit from that. I think it might be a little bit better if I had it with as a separate one. This one adds a little bit too many of these instances. So I'm gonna just duplicate this and use the concrete patches. As you can see, it just added way too many, so maybe let's have it. Okay, well, I think that's quite a bit better. It takes away quite a bit. It takes away quite a lot from your focus being on this one here, I think, which is good, and add some of those kind of damaged decals around here. Some of the tire tracks, and there's our one roundabout. Actually, right on the edge of 2 hours. And of course, there's this can be improved, but as a first version 0 0.1, it's getting there. I'll still look at some other things that I can do with this. And this is kind of interesting because I always go back to Days Gone and Far Cry 5. I was trying to look at the map and how they did a roundabout, but they don't have a roundabout. And I get it because it's not easy to make. It's easy to make like a cul-de-sac, right? But a roundabout, I definitely like it as I love it as a feature now that I look at it. I definitely like it. So yeah, so that was a great. I'm gonna keep it. But yeah, um, there's definitely aspects of it like you can see right now placing it and getting it to work. I'm you know I'm it looks okay. I'm still not perfectly happy with it, so I'm probably gonna try and tweak it a little bit. But yeah, it's like I said, I was trying to find a game that had a traffic circle to actually to look at it as a reference, but I couldn't find it. And but yeah, I'm really liking how this one turned out. So yeah, cool. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope it was something interesting slash fun to see. Maybe you even learned something that's even better. And yeah, with that said, I will see you next week and to next week's stream. I'll just post it probably the day prior when I'm getting closer to the weekend. But yeah, thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your weekend or evening, and hopefully you have a good week coming up. And I'll see you next weekend. All right, take care, everybody.